Hare Krishna devotees, welcome you all for today's class. We'll start with the prayers. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we have been going through the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, contents of Gita summarized. We have covered till shloka number 25. In the last few shlokas, we are seeing Krishna describing different qualities of the soul, and this will continue for a few more shlokas, the same subject matter within this chapter. So we'll continue from shloka number 26. अथ चैनं नित्यजातं नित्यं वा मन्यसे मृतं तथापि त्वं महाबाहो नैनं शोचितुम् अर्हसि. So here Krishna is telling, so far Krishna has been describing about the eternity of the soul, that how it is unborn and undying and ever existing. It doesn't undergo any kind of transformation, and there is no death for the soul. Now here Krishna is putting another argument to Arjuna, that if Arjuna thinks that the living beings are perpetually born and then perpetually they are dying, so there is no eternal soul. Living entities are taking birth by some combination, and after that, when the body is decayed, then the death takes place. Even if Arjuna thinks in this way, that there is no soul, only body is there, and so many bodies are taking birth and so many bodies are dying. So athapi chainam nityam jatam nityam va manyase mritam. So every day so many living entities are taking birth, and every day so many living entities are dying. Even if you think in that way, atha chainam manyase, if you think that soul is not eternal and bodies are just taking birth and dying, even in that case, tathapi tvam mahabaho nainam shochitum arhasi. Even in that case, if your thinking is like this, that there is no soul and simply bodies are taking place and dying, just like the modern scientists say, the life forms are combination of matter according to scientists. So even if you have that kind of mentality, even in that case, you don't have to lament for the death of the people who have gathered here. So another argument Krishna is putting to Arjuna, that why he should fight. If, however, you think that the soul is perpetually born and always dies, still you have no reason to lament, O mighty armed Arjuna. So we will go through the details of this in the purport. So there is always some class of people who give this kind of argument, and they are similar to Buddhists. Buddhists also, they do not believe in the existence of soul or existence of God. So Buddha philosophy was that Shunyavada. It is called Shunyavada. Ultimately, everything is zero. There is no soul, there is no God. Simply the bodies are coming into existence based on some past activity. Again, the matter is reorganizing into another form based on the past activities. So that is the philosophy of Buddha. And why Buddha gave this kind of philosophy, that also is described in the Vedic literatures, because Buddha is one of the incarnation of Krishna. In the Dashavatara, Buddha is also there. Sadaya Hridaya Darshita Pashughatam. In the Dashavatara Stotra, there is a mention of Buddha. Keshava Dhrita Buddha Sharira Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Nindasi Yagna Vidher Ahaha Shruti Jatam. So he defied the authority of the Vedas, specifically the different sacrifices which are mentioned in the Vedas, where there is some kind of animal sacrifice is mentioned, some yagnas where there is a mention of animal sacrifice. So he defied that. He said that I don't believe in these Vedas. Nindasi yajna vidher ahaha shruti jatam. So Shruti means the Vedic literature, which is heard originally from the Supreme Lord and then coming down in the disciplic succession. So Shruti Jata. So the different sacrifices which are given in the Vedas, some of them mention about animal sacrifice. So he denied the Vedic authority. Why did he do that? Sadaya Hridaya Darshita Pashughatam. Because he wanted to stop this cruel killing of the animals, giving the reason of the sacrifices mentioned in the Vedas. So he became very compassionate to these living entities who were being sacrificed in the name of yagnas. So he appeared as Buddha, Keshavadhrita, Buddha Sharira, Jai Jagadisha Hare. So he is Jagadisha, he is the Supreme Lord. He appeared as Buddha and he defied the authorities of the Vedas, taking compassion to the poor animals who were being sacrificed uh, in the name of Vedas. So what had happened was that was in the beginning of Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga began around 5,000 years ago and Buddha appeared, I think around probably 3,000 years ago or something. So that was just the beginning of Kali Yuga. Few hundred years have passed. And because of the ill effect of the Kali Yuga, people became degraded. And although there are mention of certain sacrifices in the Vedic literature for restricting the eating of meat. So for restricting meat eating, there are certain sacrifices which are meant for people in the mode of tamoguna or ignorance. So those who are in the mode of ignorance or tamoguna, it is called, they are addicted to eating meat. And to restrict them, there are certain mentions of sacrifices for this class of people, that instead of every day you killing animals and eating, you perform a sacrifice to goddess Kali once in a month. And after that, you can eat that animal which is sacrificed in this sacrifice. And also, you will have to chant a mantra in the ear of that animal saying that Mam Saha. Mam Saha means I am killing you now, and in future I will become a goat or the same animal which I am killing, and you can kill me in the future. So because I am killing you now, you have the right to kill me in the future, and I will become a goat in my next life. So telling a mantra in the ear of that animal, then sacrificing the animal only once in a month on the day of Amavasya, and then they are allowed to eat meat. So by doing this, one thing is they are not allowed to eat meat on 29 days. So they are restricted in eating of meat for 29 days. Only one day they are allowed, and that too they will have to chant this mantra. So any sensible man will come to his senses over a period of time if he is doing this repeatedly, that how many times I have to take the form of this lower animal and again killed like this. So that way gradually they will get elevated from their lower modes, come to the higher modes, and they will stop killing of the animals. So this is the idea behind some of the sacrifices in the Vedas where there is a permit to kill animals. But in the beginning of Kali Yuga, because of the degradation, many people started giving the reason that, oh, there is a mention in the Vedas that you can kill animal by doing this sacrifice. But they threw all other rules that it has to be only on Amavasya. So every day they started killing animals in the temples, Kali temples, Durga temples, like that. And the temples were converted like slaughterhouses, meat shops. Now, every day large number of animals are being killed, and if anybody questions why you are doing this, then they will say that, oh, it is mentioned in the Vedas. In the Veda there is a sacrifice like this, so we are doing it. So now also we see sometimes if you go to some villages and all, some jatras will be there. So that time they will kill so many this hens, and sometimes they will kill this goat and sheep animals also. That time we will see that there is everywhere blood in the temple surrounding area. Everywhere so much blood is there. So now also we see it happens on certain days in a year. So that was the situation practically every day in the temples in India before the appearance of Buddha. So seeing this, that people are actually deviating from the Vedas instead of following them, and he wanted to stop the sinful activities. of these people, because they are committing so much of sin and they will have to suffer a great amount in future. So he wanted to stop that, and if he tries to convince them, they are not agreeing, they are showing the Vedas. So then he said that I don't believe in your Vedas. There is no God, there is no soul, and ahimsa is paramadharma, non-violence. That is the highest form of religion. So he preached in that way, just to stop these people from killing of the animals. But later on, his followers continued to follow that philosophy, and now also there are Buddhists and followers of similar philosophy who do not believe in the existence of God. And these kind of philosophers will be there always, not only during Buddha's time or in the modern age, even in the former ages. Even in Satya Yuga also, you'll find some people who are atheists, who don't believe in the existence of God, but the number will be very small. But in Kali Yuga, that number increases. Majority of people will be godless. They will have no idea of God, or they don't believe in the existence of God. So when Krishna is telling 5,000 years ago, also uh, that kind of philosophies existed. That is mentioned here. They are known as Lokayatikas and Vaibhashikas. So some kind of philosophers who deny the existence of God. So always there will be people who are atheistic, and they will put forward these kind of arguments that there is no soul, and life symptoms come by combination of matter, just like the modern scientists say nowadays. uh, so these kind of people always exist, and even taking these kind of arguments, there is no lament for Arjuna. There is no reason for Arjuna to lament. That is the point what Krishna is making. He is not promoting atheistic ideas, but he is just giving a logical argument that even if you think that there is no soul and bodies are taking birth and dying, you don't have to lament for that. So now these philosophers who are atheistic, so what do they say? That body is formed by a combination of physical elements. At a certain stage, the life symptoms starts developing by the interaction of physical and chemical elements. So that is their proposal, or that is their theory. And they call it as anthropology. They call it as anthropology, and that is the basis of their philosophy. And in the present day, many so-called religions also, especially in the Western countries, they also have this kind of philosophy. They call themselves as following certain religion, but actually, if you see, their philosophy will be they do not believe in the existence of soul or existence of God. So they are almost similar to the Buddhists, who say that they don't believe in the Vedas and they don't believe in the existence of God. So such people existed even in the earlier ages also, and Krishna is giving one such example. So now, even if Arjuna thinks that the uh, bodies are taking birth and dying and there is no soul, still, why he should lament? Because if there is no soul, then there is no personality. Personality is temporary. Personality is formed by combination of matter, and ultimately, this metal body is a combination of some chemicals. So it's some 70 kg of chemicals, or 80 kg, 50 kg of chemicals based on the person's weight, and they are organized in a particular way, and they have giving rise to consciousness. Ultimately, it is chemicals only. And if some chemicals are lost when a body dies, so why one has to lament? Before that, it was chemicals. Then by certain combination, it became a body. Ultimately, it is again chemicals only. And when the body dies, either naturally or by force, when somebody kills somebody, uh, ultimately it is again the chemicals which again dissolve or merge into the whole lot of chemicals. So some kgs of chemicals are combined, and when a person is killed, again they get merged into the balanced set of elements. So why one should bother about some person dying? So this is a case of argument that Krishna is giving. Earlier he has given the argument on the existence of the soul, that you should not lament for the death of uh, Bhishma or Drona, because they are elevated souls and they are going to get a better life in the future. And even if you think that there is no soul, and it is just a combination of matter, even if you think in that way also, It is just a waste of chemicals when somebody dies. So for that, you should not lament. So that is the argument which Krishna is giving. We will see here. On the other hand, in the modern science and scientific warfare, so many tons of chemicals are wasted for achieving victory over the enemy. So we see in the warfare, they drop bombs. So how they have made these bombs? By some chemical combination. They have created some bomb and they drop so many bombs, hundreds and thousands of tons of bombs they will drop. The higher the that weight of that bomb, how many kgs it is, that much will be the greater explosion, and that much greater will be the um, uh, disaster. So many thousands of kgs of chemicals are wasted in the war. So even if some people die also in the war, according to this philosophy, they are also some combination of chemicals only. So according to them, there is no loss when a person dies. So in any case, whether Arjuna accepts the Vedic conclusion that there is an atomic soul, or whether he did not believe in the existence of the soul, he had no reason to lament. So either he believes in the existence of soul, or he does not believe in the existence of soul. There is no reason for lamenting for the death. If the soul did not existed, it was just the chemicals, and nobody laments for some loss of some chemicals. If the soul exists, then the soul is eternal, body is temporary. Soul is going to into the next body, and according to how it has acted in the present body, it is going to get a new body. So in either case, there is no reason to lament when a person dies. According to this theory, since there are so many living entities generating out of matter every moment, and so many of them are being vanquished every moment, there is no need to grieve for such an incidence. However, since he was not risking rebirth of the soul, Arjuna had no reason to be afraid of being affected with sinful reaction due to his killing his grandfather and teacher. So one more consideration for these kind of philosopher is they don't believe in what is pious activity, what is sinful activity, because there is no soul, there is no rebirth, so there is no accountability. My actions have no accountability, because if there is soul, then I am eternal, then I have to take birth, then I will have to be accountable for whatever action I have done. So if there is no soul, no God, then I have no accountability. I can act however I want. I can kill somebody, I can cheat somebody, I can do any kind of criminal activity, and nobody is there to uh, hold me accountable for my actions. So actually, this is a very dangerous philosophy. When somebody says that they don't believe in the existence of God, they perform all kinds of sinful activities. And under ignorance, they think that I will not be punished in the future. But the reality is that he will have to take another body, and that body will be according to his actions. And if he has acted sinfully, then he will have to undergo lot of miseries in his next life. So here, although Krishna is putting that argument that if you don't think the if you don't believe in the existence of soul, and if you think that it is only combination of matter, when he's saying at the same time he's calling him as Mahabaho, he's sarcastically he's addressing Arjuna as Mahabaho, oh mighty armed. So because at least he did not accept the theory of these atheists, so which leaves aside the Vedic wisdom. So all these atheistic theories, so they don't accept the wisdom available in the Vedic literature, but at least Arjuna was not belonging to the followers of these atheistic class of people. For the sake of argument, Krishna is telling, but in the same breath, he is also calling him as Mahabaho, that you are not like these atheistic people who don't believe in the existence of the soul. But for the sake of argument, even if we take it that way, there is no reason for lamentation. So as a Kshatriya, Arjuna belonged to the Vedic culture, and it behooved him to continue to follow its principles. So Arjuna belonging to the Varnashrama Dharma, and he was a Kshatriya, he was a Grahastha. So he was not an atheist like these followers of Buddha or the other philosophies. Next shloka Krishna says, Jatasya hi dhruvo mrityur, dhruvam janma mritasya cha, tasmad aparihari arthe, natvam shochitum arhasi. So another argument Krishna is giving is, okay, previous to one, because Arjuna was thinking that he will incur sin by killing his teacher and grandfather. Now, the previous thing what Krishna had told was that they are all eternal. Me, you, and all these people who have gathered, we existed in the past, we are existing now, and we will also exist in the future. And if you are killing someone in a dharma yuddha, then that will not incur sin on him. That is according to the Vedic principles. If somebody is fighting and killing a person in a dharma yuddha, then he will not incur sin. That was his earlier argument based on the Vedic literatures. Now, in the previous one, in the just before this shloka, what we discussed today, so there Krishna is giving the argument from the side of the atheists also. Even if one goes by this atheistic philosophy, even in that case, Arjuna don't have to worry about the sinful reaction, because according to that philosophy, there is no existence of soul and there is no reaction for the activities what one is doing. There is no karma phala. So in either case, Arjuna need not worry about his fear about the sinful reaction. And next Krishna is saying, Jatasya hi dhruvo mrityur, dhruvam janma mritasya cha, tasmad aparihare arthe, natvam shochitum arhasi. So another argument what Krishna is giving is, anybody who has taken birth, he is sure to die. And anybody who is dying, he is sure to take birth again. So death cannot be avoided. And again, taking another birth, that also cannot be avoided. These two are certain. Jatasya hi dhruva mrityuhu. Somebody who has taken janma, for him mrityu is certain. And dhruvam janma mritasya cha. So one who has dead, for him again a birth is certain. So this is unavoidable. Therefore, in the unavoidable discharge of your duty, you should not lament. So something which is unavoidable, because of that, Arjuna should not deviate from his duty. So that Krishna is telling here. Purport. One has to take birth according to one's activities of life. So we have taken this birth, current birth, based on how I have acted in my past life. And my next birth will be decided by how I am going to act or how I am acting in this life. So the activities, my activities in my current life will define my future life. Just like we work in the office, or we do some business, or we are student and we are studying. So how I am spending my time, utilizing my time, that decides my future. Suppose I am working very nicely in my office and I am performing well, then naturally I will get promoted, I will get better job or better position, better salary. So how I got a better salary? Because of the activity I did in my past few months or few years. That decided my current salary and position. Similarly, a student, how he has studied in his past 1 year, that decides what kind of marks he is going to get, and what kind of further education he is going to get, what kind of college or institution he is going to get admitted. That is decided by how he studied in his last 1 year. Or a businessman, how he is doing his business, how he is satisfying his customers. That decides his future orders and future business. So in the same way, how we are acting currently, that decides my future life, and the current life also is based on how I had acted in my previous life. And one has to die to take birth for the next. So I cannot get just a second next birth without dying. One has to die, then only I can get the next birth. So in this way, the cycle of birth and death is revolving one after the other without liberation. So as long as the soul is not liberated, or it becomes mukta, or it attains mukti, till then this cycle of repeated birth and death will go on. Now, because anyway people are going to die, anyway people are going to take birth again, that does not mean that unnecessarily I will kill people. Death is inevitable. Today or tomorrow a person is going to die. So let me kill him today only for some of my purpose. Just like animals are killed for eating. Anyway, this animal is going to die. So instead of it dying naturally after 1 year, 2 year, 5 years, let me kill it now and eat it for my satisfaction of the tongue. So this kind of killing is not supported. Although death is inevitable, birth is inevitable, but one cannot unnecessarily kill any person or any animal. However, violence is also unavoidable in certain situations, just like in case of a war where somebody is irreligious and irreligiously somebody is attacking you and not allowing you to live peacefully, then at such times war is also required and violence is also required. So these things are inevitable, but it has to be done according to dharma for keeping the law and order in the human society, not whimsically for satisfying my own individual personal desires. That's why this kind of violence was allowed for the Kshatriyas. So Kshatriya means one who protects from the danger. So one who protects from a danger, he is called as a Kshatriya. So the Kshatriyas were allowed for fighting and killing when there is a need to protect the citizens from unlawful actors. So under the uh, permission of the scriptures, one can uh, commit violence, but not on his own accord or not for his own satisfaction, not for satisfying my tongue, let me kill animals and eat. So these kind of things are not permitted in the scriptures. Just like we have got soldiers and they are protecting the borders and they have got the right to kill the enemy. If somebody tries to cross the border and if they kill, they are not questioned in the court that why you killed a person. Rather, they are given medals if they fight valiantly and kill many people in the war. They are honored with medals. But the same soldier, if he comes to his home, to his town, and he gets into a fight with his neighbor and kills his neighbor, killing is same, either killing on the border or killing his neighbor. Killing act of killing is the same, but the purpose is different. Here he killed for his own purpose, but there he is killing for the country. Then he is awarded by the country, given medals, given position. But here, if he comes and kills, then he will be questioned by the law. He will be put behind the bars. Then case will happen and proper judgment will happen. So violence is inevitable for protecting law and order in the society, and when it is permitted, then there is no consequences for that. But if one engages in violence, if he kills other living entities or other human beings for his personal satisfaction, then he has to face the consequences either by the man-made law or by the law of God. Man-made law, sometimes one can escape also, but laws of God, nobody can escape. The Battle of Kurukshetra, being the will of the Supreme, was an inevitable event, and to fight for the right cause is the duty of a Kshatriya. Now, this war in the Kurukshetra was, although it was appearing like a family quarrel and a property dispute, but ultimately it was the will of Krishna because he wanted to reduce the burden from the earth by all these sinful kings who were committing a lot of sinful activities. So he wanted to reduce the burden on this earth. So for that, he had planned this war of Kurukshetra. So it was his plan. Therefore, it was inevitable. And it is the duty of a Kshatriya to fight in a religious battle, Dharma Yuddha. So for that reason, he should not be afraid or aggrieved at the death of his relatives, since he was discharging his proper duty. So because he was discharging his proper duty as per the will of the Supreme Lord Krishna, so he should not be afraid or aggrieved for the death of even if they are his own relatives, even if they are his own teacher or his grandfather, because he's working for a higher cause. He did not deserve to break the law, thereby becoming subjected to the reactions of sinful act, of which he was so afraid. So he was afraid that if I fight and kill my grandfather, my teacher, and my friends and relatives, I will become sinful. But the reverse is happening, that if you don't fight, then he will subjected to the sinful reactions, because he will be disobeying the order of the Supreme Lord. Here Krishna himself wants the fight to happen, and if he doesn't fight, then that will be a sin, not killing his relatives and friends in the battle on the order of Krishna. By avoiding the discharge of his proper duty, he would not be able to stop the death of his relatives, and he would be degraded due to his selection of the wrong path of action. So even if he doesn't fight, he leaves the battle and goes away. Can he stop the death of his teacher and grandfather and relatives? He cannot stop. As per the law of karma, when the death comes, they will die. By one way or the other, they will die. So Arjuna cannot stop their death as well. And if he doesn't fight, then he will get degraded, because he is deviated from the path of dharma. So these are the arguments being given by Krishna to Arjuna, that why he should fight this battle. Next shloka, Krishna says, Avyaktadini bhutani vyakta madhyani bharata avyakta nidhananyeva tatra ka paridevana. So avyakta adini, the living entities, in the beginning, they are not existing, the material bodies. Just like I was not existed certain number of years ago. Before my birth, the body was not there. The personality who is present now by a certain name, certain occupation, that personality did not existed prior to the birth. So avyakta adini bhutani. So the living entities were avyakta. They were unmanifest, or they were not seen before their birth. The material bodies were not seen before their birth. Vyakta madhyani bharata. So only during the middle portion, the material bodies are visible. They take birth, then they live for some time, they grow, they do something, they achieve something. So during the middle portion, they are vyakta, or they visible. And when the death takes place, avyakta nidhanani eva, when nidhana happens, when death takes place, again they become avyakta. So a person was not there some 30 years ago, 40 years ago, and at his birth, he became visible, and he lived for a certain period of time, and at death, he got disappeared. So it's only the middle portion we see the person in his material body. So tatra ka paridevana. So what is the need for lamentation? Anyway, the person was not existed some 50 years ago. And after another 50 years, he is not going to be there. Only he is present during this middle duration. So when a person dies, what is the need for lamentation? Anyway, the person did not existed few hundred years ago, or 30, 40 years ago, 60 years ago. The person was not there. He was there only during this middle portion. So when death takes place, there is no need for lamentation. But accepting that there are two classes of philosophers, one believing in the existence of the soul and the other not believing in the existence of the soul, there is no cause for lamentation in either case. So this we have discussed already. Either one believes in the existence of the soul or doesn't believe in the existence of soul. There is no cause for lamentation when death takes place. Non-believers in the existence of the soul are called atheists by the followers of Vedic wisdom. Yet, even if for argument's sake we accept the atheistic theory, there is still no cause for lamentation. So even if we accept for the argument's sake the theory of atheists, so there is no cause for lamentation. Why we are saying like that? Because leaving aside the existence of the soul, What is this material body? This material body is just combination of earth, water, fire, air, and ether. According to Vedic scriptures, this is a combination of this Panchabhutas, Bhumi, Rapo, Analo, Vayu, and Kham, earth, water, fire, air, and ether. Then there is subtle elements, Manas, Buddhi, and Ahankara, mind, intelligence, and false ego. And all these things are material elements. And even if you go by modern science, they have got a different way of describing this body as made of different chemical and physical elements. So either we go by this Vedic understanding of what is this body, or the scientific modern understanding of what is this body. Ultimately, it is a combination of certain material elements. And when death takes place, what happens? All these elements, they get dismantled. Earth goes to earth, fire goes to fire, water goes to water. In this way, all these 8 elements, they get again disintegrated and dismantled, and they merge into the whole chunk. So the conservation of law of energy, that always remains. How much matter was there? The same matter is just undergoing different transformations. Earlier it was in this combination. Now the combination got changed, and now it is in a different combination. So the law of conservation of energy remains. But in course of time, things are manifested and unmanifested. That is the difference. So suppose a person has taken birth. So initially it was a small pea-like thing in the mother's womb, and then taking the food from the mother's secretions, then that thing starts growing and develops into a body. Then after coming out, that body again takes different food from the outside sources, and that body starts growing. And at one point of time, when the body becomes very weak and useless, death takes place. So from the beginning till end, it is just a transformation of certain material elements from one state to another state. So in such case also, why one should lament? Then what is the cause? What cause is there for lamentation, either in the stage of manifestation or unmanifestation? Somehow or other, even in the unmanifested stage, things are not lost. Even if a person is dead, the material elements are not lost. Earlier it was in a different combination, now it is in a different combination. Both at the beginning and at the end, all elements remain unmanifested, and only in the middle they are manifested. And this does not make any real material difference. So if one does an analytical study, then there is no difference. Earlier, how much material elements, how many atoms were there? When a person had not taken birth, they were in a different state. Later on, it was in a different state. And when a person died also, same set of atoms, they are again present in a different state. So it's just a transformation of material energy. So for that, why one should lament when a person dies? This is from the only from the material point of view, what is happening in the material body. And from the spiritual point of view, although the same transformations are happening in the external body, but the soul which is there inside this body, it is experiencing different things. What is happening in the body? It is experiencing childhood, it is experiencing boyhood, it is experiencing youthhood, then it experiences old age, then it experiences death and goes on to another body to repeat this same cycle. So in either case, the energy is always conserved. The soul is eternal, and the material elements, they are undergoing transformation, but still the same amount of material elements remain. So even accepting this conclusion of the Vedas as given in the Bhagavad Gita, these material bodies are perishable in due course of time. Antavanta ime deha, but nityasya uktaha sharirinnaha. But the soul is eternal. So we must remember always that the body is like a dress, and therefore why lament the changing of a dress? Suppose I have got a dress and that dress became very old, it is torn, it has become very dirty. Then I give up that dress and I wear a fresh new dress. So we don't lament that, oh, my dress is gone, my dress is gone, my dress became old. No, it is torn. We don't sit crying for the change of our dress. In the same way, a self-realized person, he doesn't lament for the change of these bodies. This change of body is just like change of the soul. The material body has no factual existence in relation to the eternal soul. So the real person is the soul, and body is just like a outer covering, which is always undergoing transformation. And it is something like a dream. Sometimes in my dream, I may be thinking that no, a tiger is attacking. Or sometimes I may be thinking that I have become a king. Or sometimes I am flying in the sky. But when we wake up, we are neither in the sky nor I have become a king and no tiger is there. So this change of the body, taking birth, taking death, it is also like this dream states. There is no factual reality from the spiritual dimensions. Therefore, the Vedic wisdom encourages self-realization on the basis of non-existence of the material body. Therefore, all the Vedas, they talk about becoming self-realized, that is Atma Sakshatkara, to know who you are, who am I, uh, what is soul, who is God. So Vedas are encouraging people to understand this subject matter and become self-realized. Therefore, in either case, whether one believes in the existence of soul or one does not believe in the existence of the soul, there is no cause for lamentation for loss of the body. So there is no cause for lamentation when death takes place because the soul is eternal. So we have covered till shloka number 28. It's already 7:50 now. We will end our session here. If there are any questions, we'll take up questions and answers. If anybody has got any questions, they can unmute and they can ask. Okay, so if there are no questions on today's topic, we will end our session here. Thank you all for joining. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Hare Krishna.